Hi, and I'm Jessie Cruikshank, and welcome to the second week of Advent. This week, we look at and talk about peace. Um, I'm interested, in the idea of reflecting on what is peace. What is peace to you? What is peace to me? What is peace to someone else, and how we define that differently. And um, what that reveals to me is that we struggle with the idea of peace. We struggle with the idea, and maybe we struggle with peace and the idea of peace because we don't actually know what it is. We live in a society that has no value for peace. Our society treats peace as weakness. Peace is a compromise. Peace is giving up or giving in, because we value the opposite, right? We live in a culture that values storming the gate and, making your point known and, protecting yourself and fighting for that. We value that fight and that and some other nations would even say that we value war and we value violence. So we live in a culture that doesn't have a value for peace. And so it can be hard to know what peace is. It can be hard to know what it feels like or even how to pursue it. So this week, as we think about peace, the second week of Advent, I think that that's fascinating to sit and to think, what is peace to me? What am I looking for? What am I'm leaning in towards when I think about peace? For me, I would say that I haven't understood what peace is maybe until a couple years ago. And for me, peace is not an absence of chaos or an absence of conflict, but peace is like this bubble in the middle of that chaos and the conflict where I know who I am and I know what God has for me there and what he wants. And God actually creates that bubble for me. So I can have chaos around me and it doesn't upset me. It doesn't take away my peace because my peace is being grounded in my identity of who God says I am and being satisfied in that. So for me, the journey of peace, I could say I wanted peace, but I couldn't get there. And so peace has kind of been like this fruit or this outflow of being satisfied in God, being satisfied that God will take care of me and that what he hands me is what I need. And if I need, then I can ask for that. And that, this deep trust that he will take care of me, that God will take care of me and God will protect me. That has led to a deep satisfaction, like a foundation, like a solid ground. And as I've stood on that solid ground, as I've leaned into and rested in that satisfaction of every day satisfying me, then the result of that is I've had peace. I've had peace at a deep place rather than like an anxiety. So if I sit alone and I sit with God, I have peace. When it used to be, if I sat alone and I sat with God, whether God was there or not, or whether I was just by myself or not, like I had anxiety in deep places. So this anxiety just kind of was always there, and it was asking the question, am I doing the right thing? Am I being the right person? Am I fulfilling my potential? Am I, following and doing all the things that I'm supposed to? Am I being the person I'm supposed to? And none of those questions got me to a place of peace, but rather just letting them go and trusting that if I leaned into God, then God would answer those questions. God would lead me. God would guide me. God would tell me what I need to do, or at least tell me when I'm doing it wrong. That deep satisfaction has led me to peace. And so what's interesting to me is that in Advent, as Jesus comes and he is the Prince of Peace. He is the one who shows us how to abide with God. He is the one who brings that intimacy forward for us, so that even in the chaos, even in the swirling storm, even in all of the things that are unknown and we're disoriented and we're depressed and we're lost, like even in the middle of that, we can sit with Jesus, and Jesus can show us how to abide with God and have peace. So peace is a fascinating conversation to me. I hope that you sit and think about, what is peace to you? How do you find that, or how do you experience that? Where does that, do you lay hold of that? And just lean into the question of how Jesus can be a doorway to teach you about peace, so that you can live there, abide there, and share that with other people. Happy Advent.